The Last Heroes. Episode 2. Judgment in Chains.
The morning after the storm in the dungeons, Mudit did not wake to peace. Whispers traveled like restless shadows through the corridors of the royal palace. Servants held their breath, nobles gathered with sharpened eyes, and deep beneath stone and silence, Merrick, the hidden son of General Damien, remained in chains, bound not just by iron, but by betrayal, by fate, and by the fury of a king.
In the Hall of Decision, a grand chamber lit by sunbeams filtered through stained glass. The air was heavy. The light itself seemed hesitant to touch the throne where King Altheon sat, his fingers interlaced, eyes narrowed in grim thought. At his right stood General Damien, still reeling from the truth. His son had infiltrated the royal walls, clashed blades with the kingdom's finest, and stood accused of plotting against the crown. At the king's left, seated in a semicircle of carved silverwood chairs, were the royal court of elders, 13 wise figures chosen to guide the kingdom through matters beyond simple law. They were sages, warriors, philosophers, and above all, protectors of balance. The court had heard the accusations: unlawful entry into the royal quarters, concealed identity within the palace walls, combat against royal guards, and even the general himself. And the most dangerous of all, suspicion of attempted assassination of Princess Melina. Though Merrick had revealed nothing in captivity, silence in such moments can be as damning as confession. The trial was swift, not out of haste, but of fear. This was no common criminal. This was the son of Mudit's greatest general, a boy trained in secret, a youth of terrifying skill and unknown ambition. King Altheon's voice was deep, commanding, and carried the weight of generations when he finally spoke. Greater than he who breaks the sacred walls of trust, who raises steel within the halls of peace, shall answer not only to the laws of man, but to the tears of my daughter, and the heart of a kingdom betrayed. Damien bowed his head. He did not beg. He did not plead. His eyes, tired and hollow, met the king's, not as a general, but as a father. For a brief moment, nothing was said, but everything was spoken. The court deliberated. Some called for mercy. Others demanded death, but in the end, the eldest elder, Lady Theron of the Star Temple, stood and offered the final judgment. Greater than, death is swift, but understanding is earned. Let this boy be stripped of freedom and pride, not life. Let him endure the slow lesson of pain, so he may grasp the cost of chaos. Let him walk the edge of despair, and perhaps, just perhaps, emerge worthy. The sentence was passed. Greater than 90 days of punishment. No food, no water, a new torment each day, not to kill him, but to test the soul that dare defy a crown. The first day, the cell was stone, cold, eternal. Merrick was chained not just by wrists and ankles, but to a wall that pulsed with quiet magic, designed to drain strength, not blood. On the first day, they came not with blades, but with silence. The guards lit no torches. No one spoke. Merrick sat in the dark, alone, as the world above forgot his name. For 24 hours, he was left in a silence so perfect he could hear his own heartbeat. The absence of sound was a torment far more cruel than pain. The second day, the next day, they brought light, not to warm, but to blind. They chained him upright beneath the burning sun in the courtyard, his mask stripped, his name unspoken. He could not move. He could not close his eyes. The sun scorched his skin and dried his throat. Nobles watched from balconies, unsure whether to pity or despise. The days that followed. Each day, a new trial. On the 7th, they bound him in frost-charmed chains and left him in the mountain wind until his bones ached with cold that would not kill. On the 15th, they placed him in a room of mirrors where illusions showed him visions of betrayal. His father walking away, the princess laughing with another, the king raising a blade to strike. On the 25th, they reversed time with magic, forcing his body to relive wounds from training again and again. Each moment looping, each bruise freshly born. Still, Merrick endured. His lips cracked, his body grew thin, but his spirit did not break. In the shadows, two hearts waited. From her tower, Princess Melina watched, each day a new torment displayed like theater. Though the king forbade her from speaking his name, she whispered it in the silence of night. Merrick. She remembered the strength in his eyes, the calm in his voice. Not once did he raise his hand to her. Not once did he lie. She knew what the court did not. He was no assassin. And in secret, she began to write, to plan, to reach out to allies among the scholars and healers who still believed in redemption. If she could not save him with her title, she would save him with her will. Meanwhile, General Damien did not sleep. He stood at the edge of the court chambers, night after night, staring at the moon, wondering whether he had made his son too strong, too silent, too proud. He began to question the truth. Had Merrick come for war, or had he come for love? Day 45. The turning point. It was on the 45th day that Merrick, now weak beyond measure, whispered his first words. A guard had spit at his feet and asked mockingly, "What are you now, warrior?" Merrick, barely audible, answered, "Greater than I am becoming." That phrase spread like wildfire through the castle. Some laughed, others trembled, and on that day, the king stood alone in the garden where a single white rose, the favorite of his late queen, bloomed. He plucked it. He did not know why, but something inside him, ancient, uneasy, whispered, "There is more to this boy than treason." End of episode 2. Merrick survives halfway through his punishment, but questions begin to stir across the kingdom. Is he a threat or a savior in chains? Melina begins to gather secret allies. Damien seeks the truth buried in the past. And King Altheon feels the weight of a choice that could either destroy or save Mudit. Would you like to continue with episode 3, where Melina tries to secretly visit Merrick in prison? Or would you like to see Merrick's dreams? Strange visions that begin to guide him toward his destiny as the last hero.